Hey everyone, it's Ugo. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel once again. Now I know I look the same as in the last video, but that's because I'm recording both of these on the same day. If you have a problem with it, listen, you can see me. I don't know what you want me to say. I was tired. I didn't feel like changing, honestly. Sorry, sue me. So in today's video, I'm kind of taking it back to my roots. You know, I started off with a nursing video, so I'm about to hit y'all with another one. But honestly, this video is basically how I study in school. Like, all of these tips can be applied to any program that you're in, whether it's graduate school, if you're an undergrad, it really doesn't matter. You can take these tips and run with it, honestly. And I know right now, a lot of people are, you know, it's kind of, we're almost hitting the middle of July, you know, people are now gearing back towards getting back in the school mindset. I don't know if people are even going to be going back to school because Corona did a number on everybody. But if you are going back to school, these tips are for you. So basically today I'm just going to be breaking down the tips and tricks that I use to study. Now, as you guys all do know, I am in nursing school. So these some of the tips may be more specific to nursing school, but in general, as I said, it can be applied everywhere. So let's get into the video. Okay, anyways. So I mentioned in my last video that notes are very important, and they still are. It's a foundation for your success, whether in nursing school, graduate school, any type of school that you're in. If you don't have good notes, honestly, honey, you could just wrap it up, put it in the garbage, or leave it on the playground because you're not going to succeed. So honestly, taking those really good detailed notes is going to help you. Now, for me, I like to type up my notes on my laptop, as I mentioned in my last video. I take it to class as the professor is lecturing. I'm just typing everything that they say. And again, this is because one, I can type faster than I can write. And two, sometimes lecturers do try to say they say all of the missing information that's not going to be on these slides or whatever documents that you guys are going over. So it's really good to have your laptop and just know, like, oh, okay, professor said, and I literally type out like professor said, quote, da 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 da. So that way I know it can hold more importance than possibly whatever is actually on the slide. And also, a lot of the times my professors like to say, oh, you should know this for your exam. I just type it right into the PowerPoint, know this slide. It works best for me, honestly, but you don't have to. If you are really good at taking manual notes, I think that you should stick to that, but just make sure it's strong. Now, some professors do allow you to record lectures and some don't. Honestly, to me, every professor does, but the rule is just don't get caught. So I'm gonna tell you guys that I don't personally record lectures anymore. I remember I used to do it in my first semester of nursing school because everyone else was doing it and I thought I was just missing out. But honestly, I feel as though it's kind of a waste of time. Again, I'm not trying to crap on anybody's parade. I'm just saying that for me, there's no point in sitting in lecture for 4 or 5 hours, recording that, and then having to go home and spend another 4 or 5 hours listening to it. And then I'm gonna have to type. It's just too much. I honestly just prefer like to just type and go. But if recording lectures works for you, because I know everyone is a different kind of learner. Some people are auditory learners, whatever you are and whatever works for you, do that. I know me personally, as I said, I don't record lectures. But I do condense my notes, as I mentioned in the last video, into a condensed outline. That way it's easier for me to just flip through. Again, this outline is thick, it's meaty, it has everything that literally everything the professor said, I put it on the outline. And that way I can go through, highlight where I need to, do all of the, you know, put an asterisk, mark, all of these things. I can just do it rather than flipping through about 100 slides of a PowerPoint. Because for our program, our PowerPoints are literally like sometimes 108 slides, and there's no way I'm gonna be flipping through that. I will fall asleep. Honestly, I have the attention span of a gnat. Like, I will literally fall asleep, so no. Okay, so it's time to get real, honestly. The biggest and most important thing that you need to know when you're trying to figure out how to study, when you want to do well and all of that, you have to know yourself, honestly. Like me, I know me like the back of my hand, and I would hope that I know me like the back of my hand. But you have to know what works for you and what doesn't. For instance, what kind of learner are you? Like, I know me, I like to see things, and I honestly like to kind of put myself into the role of the professor. It sounds weird, but when I'm studying, I just pretend I'm the professor, literally. But I like to say things aloud, and that repetition helps me to remember things. And I also like to write things down, but instead of writing, in lieu of writing. You see I'm in school, you see what I did there, right? I'm smart. But in lieu of writing, I'm just gonna be typing it. So if you know the type of learner you are, that's gonna help define your study technique. Knowing the type of learner you are is important, but knowing if you are a procrastinator is 10 times more important. Because listen, I procrastinate. I mentioned in the last video, I plan my procrastination. I'm that person, like sometimes I will really try to put things off and it never works to my benefit. But if you know yourself and you know that, listen, I really don't like to do things on time, or I do like to do things on time, that also defines your study technique. So those are some of the important things. And also knowing if you are strong in the subject that you're studying. So for instance, if you're studying, I know me, I suck at math. Like honestly, if I had to add 23 plus 15, I would even be looking at you like, okay, where's the calculator? Like, what is 23 plus 15? That's really embarrassing. Okay, so anyways, but clearly, okay, I suck at math. So if I'm here doing, if I'm trying to study for a math test coming up, I know I need to put more time and more work into it because I'm really not that strong in this. Versus if I'm studying for an English test or a history test or whatever, I know I can kind of like coast on it because I'm a little bit more comfortable with it. I'm not saying coast on everything. Listen, if that's what you want to do, don't say that you got that advice from me because that's your own business. I told you we already paid for school, so we have no choice but to succeed. But what I'm saying is if you know that you're gonna need more help, maybe starting to study a little bit earlier or framing your study technique around the idea that, okay, I'm not so strong in this subject, I think that would work best. That's what I do. I know when there's chapters where I'm like, okay, like I'm not gonna know this, like electrolytes, all of that. Ciao. Those chapters, honestly, there are some really tough chapters. So I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna start studying rather than studying 2 weeks in advance. I'm gonna start studying 3 weeks because I don't know this. And it's really important to be honest with yourself. Know what kind of learner you are. Know if you're a procrastinator. And honestly, just know if you don't know what you're about to study,
my friend, go and get the book and open it and start looking.
Like there's no point in even trying to like procrastinate or try and be real. Just be real with yourself. So also in my last video, I mentioned with nursing exams, they're never going to ask you straight up a question like that just requires regurgitation of what they taught you. No, they're gonna ask you to apply it to whatever scenario is given. Remember, that is very important, and that honestly might just save your career in nursing school because that's how all of the tests are. I'm pretty sure that's how the NCLEX is. I haven't taken the NCLEX yet, but my professors say that that's why they frame the questions this way because we're gonna have to be doing that on the NCLEX. But specifically for nursing school, it's very important for you to study the concepts and not just know the information. Know your nursing interventions, know what you're supposed to do if this patient presents with this type of case. Like, you have to know all of those things. Don't just know the case, because if you know the disease process back and forth, like you know all of this stuff, cool. All right, but what are you supposed to do? If you don't know that, you're not gonna be a good nurse. Everyone knows being a good nurse is knowing what to do at the right time. And if you don't have that,
just wrap it up, put it on the playground and leave it. It's not for you.
Now, keep it simple, stupid. Honestly, I'm gonna keep telling y'all this. Anytime I have a study video or any type of educational video, I'm gonna keep telling y'all to keep it simple, because there's no reason to overcomplicate your life. Like, honestly, that applies to everything. When you get to the test, make sure you're keeping it simple, make sure you're being straightforward. Don't even stress, honestly. But also with notes, like sometimes, I know I did say that my outlines are very detailed, they're very thick, but a lot of the times There's some information where you just know it's not going to be on the test. And I say that based on how the professor acts about it. Like if I'm in class and I know that the professor keeps mentioning slide number 19, and she's like, if you go back to slide 19, you saw when we did this. And it keeps being brought up, versus something like on slide 36, she even went from 35 to 37. She just skipped it. Keep it simple. You don't have to start studying that. You don't have to be so in detail on the notes with it. Like, you get what I'm saying? I'm not going to say it's not important, but in comparison to everything else that is being discussed, it really doesn't hold much weight. So keep it simple, stupid. Very important. Now, earlier I did mention that I do like to basically pretend that I'm in a lecture, but I'm the professor. That is probably what has kept my GPA at where it is. Listen, my GPA is solid, honey, just to let you know. I don't think y'all were wondering, but I'm just letting you know. But that definitely has helped me. I do it because when you keep repeating something, you know it. Like, even if you don't know that you're studying and doesn't feel like you're studying, you're gonna know it. So what I do, if I'm in my living room, I have my dog is my student, shout out to Milo. But I have her, she's just sitting there and I'm acting like she's here in class. I say, do you have any questions? I literally go in and I'm like, listen, I need to know this. So guess what? I'm the professor now, because who knows the material better than the professor? That's how I look at it. Like, if I can be the professor and I can be confident in what I'm saying and what I'm doing, I know it. Like, nobody knows the material that you're studying better than the person who gave it to you to study. It really does work. I really do think that you guys can gain from just pretending to be the professor. And sometimes, like, even if, like, I know I lecture to my mom, she sits there and she asks me questions. Sometimes because those questions aren't planned, and it's like, oh man, if I don't know this topic, I really won't be able to answer the question. So having that person there asking you those questions kind of just makes sure that you know it, rather than, oh, I read this 3 times, I know this, I got this, whatever. Then you get to exam hall, you're looking at the question is looking at you. You people are just there. Time is running, you better hurry up. So having someone there asking you questions, even if it's like they're interrupting, saying, oh wait, but what about this? And, oh, I know that you mentioned this. It's a really, really good study tip. And honestly, as I said, it's the only thing that has saved me, aside from, retyping my outlines and all of that. But it's the only thing that has really saved me in nursing school. I think that it's probably the best tip that I can give you. I should have waited till the end to give you that tip, but it's okay. I love y'all. It's cool, whatever. Y'all better stick around for the rest of the video though. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. And did you subscribe? Okay, so I know I just told y'all I gave y'all the best tip that I could give you. I was lying. I didn't. I got some real good shit coming up. I forgot I'm not supposed to be cursing. Woo, child, yikes. Anyways, so right now, earlier we went over, setting the scene, how to study, all of those things. But right now I'm about to give y'all the real tea. Listen, I think everyone already knows about Khan Academy, but I'm still gonna say it anyway. Khan Academy will hold you down. These are all on YouTube also. Khan Academy will hold you down. RegisteredNurseRN, I think her name is Sarah. She saved me. She saved me because there will be times I'm in lecture and I really just can't understand what the professor's talking about. I read the book, I don't get it. Sometimes it really does help to just see someone teaching it, and maybe in a different way than your professor's teaching it. So I love RegisteredNurseRN on YouTube. Ask any nursing student, they already know this. And they probably won't be strong enough to tell you and share this tea with you, but I got y'all because I want all of us to succeed. So anyways, we got RegisteredNurseRN, we got Khan Academy. Also, ATI is really good with giving you practice questions and also teaching like some of the things that are covered in lecture. I don't really use ATI as often unless like I'm really, really struggling. Like I'm down to my last, like this is the last resort kind of thing. Only because I just don't like the interface. It's just a personal like pet peeve. I don't like the website. It looks weird, but ATI is really good. I do use the books that ATI has. They have different books for either it's med-surg, peds, if it's maternity, nutrition, all of those things, and pharmacology. I believe they have pharmacology as well. Those books are gold, honestly. This might be a reach. it may be a reach.
I don't really use my textbook like that.
Because I have all of these resources, and then I have the professor, and then I have my lecture notes. The textbook is kind of like, again, another last resort, but the ATI workbooks that you get, Khan Academy, RegisteredNurseRN, those hold you down. And also, ATI is really good because it has practice questions. Now, speaking of practice questions, I'm about to give y'all the gold mine. That was gold, but this is like gold. What's above gold? Bitcoin? Is that what it's called? I don't know. Anything that's above gold, that's what I'm about to give y'all. So I don't have it with me today, but the Saunders comprehensive NCLEX, I think that's what it's called. I am gonna put a picture on the screen for you guys, but also I'm gonna leave it just out in the description box spelled out so that you guys know exactly which one to get. I got mine's on Amazon. Now they do come out with different editions every year, as in every textbook does that. But like, that book is very thick, very comprehensive. It's literally what you would use to study for the NCLEX, but I use it for my chapter exams as well. Whoever Saunders is, I owe you money. Honestly, I owe you money because it makes no sense. I think the book was like $40 or something on Amazon. It makes no sense how I paid about $40 and I'm just succeeding like this. Like, please, somebody help me understand. The book was, hey God, anything that I had a problem with, like that I really wasn't understanding, between Saunders and ATI, there's no failing in nursing school. Honestly, if you are, you really need to tap into these books because they have every single topic that you could think of is right there for you. So that really is the gold mine right there. I know I said before, what did I say? Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, whatever. I hope I'm not. Don't fact check me, please. I don't need that kind of embarrassment. But I'm giving you guys the tea. I'm giving you guys the tools, the tips, and the tricks to succeed, okay? Because again, we gonna succeed. No choice. We already paid for it. Okay, so we went over all of those things, you know, outlining notes, which books, which websites, whatever helps you. Now it's time to talk about when to study. Now that's extremely important for the simple fact that you really, sometimes it's okay to procrastinate, but you really don't want to push it. Like, come on. Now, I mentioned in my last video that I like to take my syllabus and basically list out all of the due dates, quizzes, all of those things. I do that for many reasons, but in particular, I do that so I kind of just have a more structured grip basically on what my life is like right now. So when exam time comes, if the exam is on the 14th, I have already started studying since the 1st. I usually do start studying about 2 weeks before the exam. If I'm feeling spicy, if I'm feeling real confident in myself, I'll start studying 1 week. And I have done it and it worked out fine, but that's because all my other projects and everything has been taken care of. So that's what I referenced in the last video. And if you haven't checked out the last video, make sure that you do. I'm gonna leave a card up here on the left or the right. I'm gonna leave a card somewhere in this video, but check it out because this is basically like a supplemental video to that video. But what I like to do, as I said, I list out all of my due dates and I start studying and I make sure that my outline is done. If I'm planning to start studying on the 1st, and I know that this exam has 6 chapters, so I'm gonna need 6 different outlines. All of those outlines are done before the 1st, and then I start studying. Now, for the first week, I'm going in depth studying, like there's nothing stopping me. Now, on the 2nd week, it's mainly more so review and answering those test questions and making sure I'm like looking up little things. So that's kind of my guideline as to what I study on what day, but it's also important for you to know that you need to break up your studying into different chapters. I do not suggest trying to just knock out everything on one day. You're just gonna get all 10 chapters. you're gonna, like, don't stress. Like, honestly, if you know the test is 10 chapters and you start studying 2 weeks in advance, you're already good, because you have enough time that you can do 2 a day. Honestly, if the exam is 10 chapters, you do 2 a day, that's just 5 days. That way, after those 5 days, now that and I'm talking about in-depth studying, do not leave room for, oh, I'll review this later. Don't do that, because then once later comes, you're gonna realize, okay, I still need to do practice questions. When am I gonna do that? Because I still need to study this. You get what I'm saying? So I would say start 2 weeks in advance. If it is a lighter exam, you can start 1 week in advance, but again, know yourself. Don't, just because I'm saying it, don't think that is Bible, because it's not. I'm just saying, take this and try to apply it and tailor it completely to you so that it works for you. So for me, as I said, 2 weeks in advance. By that day that I want to start studying, all my outlines are done, and I just rock with it, basically. Now, when it comes to the final, I kind of do things a little bit differently. So for our programs, we usually have exams 1 through 4, and then on the following week is the final. So it only gives me a week to study everything that wasn't on exam 4. Well, not study, because it's something that I've already known, but review that. But it is a lot of information. So it's really, really important. Like, that last week of studying is so imperative. So basically what I do is, I've taken exam 4. Okay, exam 4, say it's on a Monday, and then that means the final is the following Monday. By that day, I know I'm not studying on Monday, because I can't keep myself. Like, sometimes I really just have to rest. So I know from Tuesday now to that following Monday is crunch time. So I start studying the old material first, mainly because it's so far back in my mind. I need to focus on that, because a lot of the questions, again, are going to come from that, not only just what I studied for exam 4. And the things that I studied for exam 4 are so fresh on my mind, there's no need to go in detail, like studying all of those pages, all of those chapters, when I can just focus my attention on the things from exam 1 to 3. So the test is on Monday. I have all week. So what I'm going to do is, from Tuesday to about maybe Thursday or Friday, I'm studying, and then I take that either Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and Monday morning I just rest. But I take that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to be answering those test questions, because you'd realize, the funniest thing is, you think that you're so confident with what you studied and what you know and what you don't know. You start to realize when you're taking those practice questions that there may be things that you don't know. And honestly, the practice questions probably is the most important thing with studying, but doing those practice questions are really important to you. I also did forget to mention earlier, Quizlet is a gold mine. You think, listen, I don't know what's above Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all of those things. Maybe God. I'm not saying that Quizlet is God. I'm not saying that too, God forbid. But I'm saying Quizlet, all I do is, like, I'll hop on Google and I Google Wong chapter 25 Quizlet. Everything that comes up. Sometimes they're the questions that you need. I can't wait, my contact's about to fall out. Anyways, but I hope you get what I'm saying. I hope you catch my drift. I'm not gonna say it again. But go on Quizlet, you type in the author of your textbook, the chapter number, and then you put Quizlet. It's gonna come up with all of these practice questions that also have the answers, because it's Quizlet. All of these practice questions are gonna come up. You take those, study those, because again, they may be the questions that you need, but that's besides the point. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm basically going through my Saunders book, my ATI, my Quizlet, all of those things, doing those practice questions so that I'm fully prepared. Regardless, no, it does not matter how confident I feel about what I studied. Like, even if I can regurgitate everything, this is where applying those concepts come into play, because I can know a disease like the back of my hand. But if I open the practice question and it's like, okay, well, what do you do in this situation? I'll be like, oh crap, I really don't know. That's where it comes into play. It's gonna help you. So we went over study techniques. We went over outlining your notes. We went over when to study, how to study, all of those things. Listen, now this may not be as important as the other things, but it does play a role into it. It's time for you to set the scene. Now, when I'm studying, I need complete quiet. I used to study in the library, but obviously with Corona, last semester I had no chance of studying in the library, so I had to just readjust. And basically, I sometimes, because I don't live alone, I do grab my headphones, just like noise canceling headphones, because you're going to need quiet in order to focus. I don't know how people study they'll have their phone next to them, they'll have music, no, music is not bad. They'll have like TV on, they'll be talking to somebody, they'll be doing all of this. How are you studying? For me, I need it to be quiet. And if I do have any kind of music on, I love it's like a lo-fi playlist on YouTube called Chilled Cow. Shout out to that, because that is my study jam. Like, I use that to study and go to sleep, honestly, but it kind of just helps me focus in more as low-key kind of thing. Either that or jazz music, whatever works for you. Just don't be playing no like Future, because who's going to be studying listening to the City Girls? Like, but I set the scene. It's really important for me. I let my family members know, hey, I'm studying. Again, I do live alone. I do not live alone. If you do live alone, you don't have to worry about that part. I put my phone away, like away. I'm not talking about I turn it off and I leave it on the table. Like, I literally take my phone and I'll put it like in my bedroom, or like it's like hiding it from myself. I put it in my drawer, in my room, lock the door. Oh, it's so much, because I get so distracted. I told y'all, I have the attention span of a gnat. So like, even if my phone is on Do Not Disturb, which it usually is anyway, I'm checking to see who disturbed me. Please, does that make a sense? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So I need to remove any source of temptation out the way. I do like to light a candle just because I'm a little extra and I like to, feel good while I'm studying. But setting the scene is so important for yourself. Important also to take breaks. You can't just study 9 hours, 10 hours straight. Go and pee. Go eat. Did you brush your teeth? Did you bath? Like, there's certain things that you need to do, because if you don't, you're gonna burn out and you're not gonna be able to withhold any information. So that's all the tips and tricks that I have for you today. Hopefully you learned something. Let me know in the comments if you did pick up any new tips and tricks that you can apply to your studying endeavors. And also, what are some things that you do that I didn't mention? Because honestly, again, I'm all about learning and getting better. So I could use some of your tips too. So drop those down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, all of that good stuff. Thank you so much for rocking with me this far. I know sometimes the videos can be a little lengthy, but that's because I have to get all of these tips out to you. Like, I'm really not trying to see anybody out here failing, whether it's in nursing school, law school, med school, grad, all of that, all those schools. We gonna succeed because we already paid for it. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. I will see you guys in the next video.